Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we love talking about the power of education. And in this case, the Oscars for educators, the Milken Educator Award. We're here with the sole recipient for Tennessee for the 2023-2024 school year. So she is representing the state of Tennessee with the Milken Educator Award. We're here with Abbey Kidwell. She is the assistant principal with Clinton Elementary School. How are you doing?
Great. It's a great day to be here. It's a good day at Clinton Elementary School.
Well, congratulations on the Milken Educator Award. We'll talk all about that prestigious honor. But let's start with a little bit of your personal background and what led you to get into teaching and ultimately education leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am born and raised in East Tennessee. I was born in Oak Ridge, graduate of Oak Ridge High School. I got my bachelor's degree at Carson-Newman College and my master's at University of Tennessee later in career. But I think to answer your question, Jeremy, I have always wanted to be a teacher. That is just what I deeply feel I was created to do. I grew up in a bedroom that was half bedroom and half classroom because that's just what I wanted to do. I wanted to emulate what I saw every day in the classroom. So I attest a lot of who I am today and the drive to get into education and to keep going into education because of all the greats that went before me. All the people that I had as teachers growing up played a huge role in that. My family played a role in that. My grandfather was an educator. My uncle and aunt are educators too. And it is just, I firmly believe who I was created to be. So I started in Clinton City Schools right outside of college. Have a principal that took a chance on a green teacher and then furthermore pushed to grow me in the classroom. I became super passionate about curriculum and wanting to grow as an instructional leader when I was in the classroom. And then I was afforded the opportunity to take the assistant principal role at our larger elementary school. And I never, even with the master's degree, didn't think that was going to be on the timeline anytime soon. But clearly the plans were a little bit different and I'm super thankful for it. We transitioned to the assistant principal role and then was able to further grow myself, either through reflection and just practice and professional learning on my own by pouring more into teachers and impacting kids that way. Because I learned the more I could push and work with teachers, the more they grew me, for one, good grief. The more you learn being in classrooms, it just blows your mind. And then together collectively, as a team and as a building, we impact kids. And that's where I am today. And I couldn't get enough of it if I tried. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some of the special ingredients because on your end, you're literally sharing your love with the students, including every day, starting with, if you haven't heard it already, I love you, which I think is powerful for setting the stage in the day. So pouring in and sharing your love with the students, doing that with the teachers and, building in this infrastructure for professional development, personal development, and connecting with the community, the larger community. And so you really kind of sit on all sides. And so let's start diving in, talk about working with the students and the teachers, and then we'll tie in the community.
I love to start my day. I think this is important to talk about. I'm either outside on the sidewalk or in the lobby, just depending on the weather and the day. But I think learning everybody's name is a priority to me. I think being recognized by your name is important. And when you're a 5-year-old or a 12-year-old, you're loved when somebody identifies you by your name. So I work hard to do that. And I love that is how I get to start my day, is kind of being reminded, this is why I'm here. We get to love on kids every single day. And then that leads into thinking about not only just their well-being as being a person that I get to care for every single day, but also, all right, we're here to grow them every single day academically. And that means getting in and knowing where we're at and where we need to go, and then what we're going to do to fill the gap in the middle. And that's when we get together with teachers and it's like, let's look at where we are. Let's look at where we're at. How are we going to fill the gaps in between with kids? How are we going to meet the needs? What is the specific things that are popping? And the beautiful thing about the folks that I work with is they're already doing that in the classroom. So when we get together collaboratively, it's a lot of, hey, this is what I'm already doing. What feedback can you give me? Or what does another team member have to say? Like, how can we all work on this together? Because everybody is looking at, these are my kids that I have. This is where I want to take them. This is the work I got to do in between. And that is just the collective efficacy of it all is us working on that middle piece. And then in the meantime, I'm working one-on-one with teachers and doing that exact same thing. Like, hey, Abby, here's where I am in a lot of the reflective practice. I really looking to get here. What can you tell me to do in between? Can we get in there together? Can our instructional coaches get in here and just saying like, hey, what if we thought about this practice? What if we just tweaked this? Can you see how it's going to impact kids over here? Because that's their goal too. So when we work with teachers on a personal level as well, it's that we're not trying to completely change the scope and sequence of everything big step. It's those little things in the middle. What are those one things that we can do? What is research saying we should try a little bit differently here? So it'll impact it tomorrow. And again, we work with people that are reflective and receptive of that. That is ultimately what's going to impact kids is when a teacher says, hey, I'm making a difference. I want help from other folks. Get in here, tell me, I want to learn and keep growing too, because that's the message we're sending to kids is everybody here is learning and growing. And just because we're a grown up doesn't mean we have it figured out. So I'm a student as well. And that is the message that we try to send. That's how we work on our professional development and learning. The work we've done with NIET has completely changed closing that gap in between because they have given us practices and thoughts and structures and systems that are just closing that gap with teachers, with the building, with teachers, and then impacting kids at the most.
Yeah, and just like you're talking about modeling that behavior of continual growth, I think that's important. And also going back to your original statement, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? And so all of that, building this culture of care, love, respect, kindness, which then carries over. And so touch on, just like you're talking about there, the resources, the professional, kind of growth and development side tied to the teacher academy that you've led and created. So tie those pieces together.
Absolutely. We have a structure in place, and this is Clinton citywide, but just to speak on Clinton Elementary's behalf, we meet weekly with every grade level in a professional learning community, a PLC. And again, the goal there is professional learning. There is, just like you would in a lesson, there is something new to learn, there is something to develop, there is something to take back and apply and bring back and evaluate. That is the cycle we have worked to set in place. And that is courtesy of the work NIET has done with us, is bringing that same structure from professional learning, take it to the classroom, and then it impacts kids. So that is happening weekly, and that is driven by need that arises, and that's coming from walking through classrooms, talking with teachers, seeing what kids are doing. So that way each grade level is getting what they need to impact their kids on the professional learning side. One of those meetings every month is data driven. It is working on our RTI, our response to intervention system, where we are looking at each kid individually at a grade level and seeing the growth we're making, where the areas and needs are, what tweaks that we need to make in those individual groups. And that our interventionist does a beautiful job at making sure that everybody's got the resources they need to meet that. The teachers have the professional learning and growth in that as well. I started I think this is year 4, working specifically with new and novice teachers in the district. We know, we get new folks that come in, and once the rubber hits the road, you realize, oh, I don't know nearly what I thought I did, or I don't even know what I don't know. So I have worked to try to mitigate that in a sense of brainstorming. All right, what are the things we can do on a monthly basis, information we can give on a monthly basis that's not overwhelming, that maybe a new friend is not thinking about, because right now they're just thinking about how to get from Monday to Tuesday in terms of their lessons. But what am I supposed to think about money? What am I supposed to think about that after school event? What am I supposed to think about when there's a cookout? All of that other stuff that comes with teaching. How do I interface with parents when something is great, also when something is not so great? What is that? What is some guidance somebody can give me there? And that program has grown it's growing and morphing based on, again, the needs that are arising, what we're seeing more folks need. But I've also been able to develop a leader in each of our other buildings at North and at South that can be a point person for the new folks there. So they are getting the opportunity to say, like, some of the new needs in a building at South Clinton are not the same of what it's at North Clinton or at Clinton Elementary School. And that teacher leader in that building can kind of intercept that, almost like a building level mentor. And then my vision for this going forward is, because we are small, how do we even further develop that mentor program to where that person has a one-on-one, someone who is checking with them on a structured basis, beyond like the big picture Clinton City things that I talk about, into, all right, let's talk more about that classroom management piece. Here's what I'm seeing. Here's what I can help you with. Our instructional coaches are coming in to talk about the academics, but again, it's twofold. It's building that new person to where they are constantly feeling the support of, I don't have to know it, but I got somebody I can ask and I feel free to do it. And then the other hand is building that leader, building that capacity in that person who wants the potential to grow as a leader. Hey, like, let's pair you up with somebody. Let's let you grow in terms of, as you grow somebody else. So I'm excited about that. That is in the vision to come, and those are coming through conversations and a lot of the work we actually did at the conference, NIT's conference in February. I got a ton of feedback on how to grow that program, because we need folks. We need folks to come and we need folks to stay. And a lot of that just comes because it is overwhelming your first few years. There's a lot going on. The pressure is on. You're dealing with new friends with all sorts of needs. And then you yourself are a new friend with all sorts of needs. So how can we support that and then continue to grow them professionally, so they say, you know what, I can do this next year. And in fact, I want to do this because look at what I get to do. Look at how I get to impact.
Yeah, absolutely. You've referenced it throughout NIET, National Institute for Excellence in Teaching. I know that the CEO, Dr. Joshua Barnett, was a part of the Milken Educator Award ceremony, and that was kind of a special piece of this. But tie in some of that element just to give some description there on the synergy with you and your efforts.
Absolutely. We've Clinton City partnered with the National Institute for Excellence in Teaching in 2020 and developed a partnership with, I guess, one specialist that has come and just become part of us. We adore her dearly. And she worked from the top down with us to develop, again, structures, systems, things that we can put in place that we take to a building level, work with teachers, because we know, and NIET also firmly believes that growing educators is going to deeply impact kids. Like that is what our role is. And reflectively, as teachers, we've got to want to grow and learn so we can keep impacting kids on that end. But it is I would probably say the beauty of working in this district too is it is from the top down that the instructional leadership starts. So we have a director and 3 supervisors who wear many, many hats, but once a week for an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, we are around the table as an administrative team looking just at our role as instructional leaders. And it starts from the top. And it's what are we doing to impact instruction, because that's what's going to grow kids. And that work from NIET is what has pushed that. It's developed into doing it at a building level, doing it at a grade level, and then trickling down to kids.
Touch on your work statewide in terms of being a part of some very important committees and groups.
Oh, yes. In 2016, I believe, Governor Haslam was in office, and Dr. McQueen was our Commissioner of Education, and they developed a teacher cabinet. And there were, my goodness, probably 20 of us, maybe a few more than that, from statewide that met quarterly and talked about either needs that were arising that the state was seeing and wanted input on, wanted thoughts and reflections on straight from the classroom, which, again, to have a voice in a role where so many decisions are made at a state level where you feel like you don't have a whole lot of control, that somebody cared to bring us together and just wanted to know, like, from the inside, what does this look like? How is this going to impact, or have we thought about this? What if you take it back and field test it or try it? And that work carried on for 2 years. And in, again, that quarterly fashion, which was super powerful. And then in 2018, February of 2018, Governor Haslam created a school safety task force, might have been the word, is the word that they used in response to just the growing concern and growing issue with violence in schools with guns and intruders. It was right on the heels of what happened tragically at Parkland. And he came together with folks from Homeland Security, folks from the TBI, and the education side of it, the school psychology side of it. And then I was invited as the teacher representative from the classroom to be on that task force and talk about, hey, we have funds, we have grant money. What is going to be the best way to steward this to impact everybody, to increase that safety level as we see a growing threat arise. And it was a powerful thing to sit a part of. I was actually I'm married to a police officer. He's no longer serving now, but to have the lens of who served as an SRO for time to see, I know what it's like to be in my room, and my husband knows what it's like to serve on that end, and our world meshed like that. So I felt like I was able to bring some insight into what law enforcement's trying to see when they're in the school, and what teachers are wanting and needing and feeling, and what's going to be a safety, the best way to meet the safety concerns.
So let's switch over and talk about the Oscars of teaching. And so once again, the Milken Educator Award, and you are the sole recipient from Tennessee for the 2023-2024 school year. So congratulations again. Absolutely awesome. What does this award mean to you?
My goodness. I still, even when you ask, it's overwhelming to think about being chosen for such an honor, and knowing that there are, just in my community, 100 of us doing the same, putting the same passion into something, and then that there's thousands of us from around the state doing the same thing. And to be chosen to receive it is an honor that's just not lost on me. To think that it's something to uphold with a great responsibility of saying this work is powerful, what we're doing is meaningful, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I wouldn't trade the blood, sweat, tears, the laughter, the life that it gives me for anything. And it's just a memorable honor to think I get to represent my state that way as an educator, because I know there are so many people, not just behind me, but around me, the same people that have impacted me, that are doing the same work in their building over their sweet friends that they get to love and grow into every day.
What would you want the community to know when you look at you representing the state of Tennessee? What would you want the community to know in terms of education, teachers on the front lines, serving our youth? What do you want the public to know?
I would say the folks that I know and that I could vouch for are doing this with a heart of knowing that public education is the great equalizer. It is the entry point for every kid to have a chance to come in and say, hey, I can go somewhere, I can be something, whether that's continue on in education, or I can make an impact when I go to trade school. That is what we're doing every single day, is for a kid to know that they can, that somebody believes in them, that they're not going to be doing this alone. They have support, whether that's from their classroom, whether that's from that classroom teacher that they have, that's from their classmates, the culture that they're creating in here, that we believe in you, and we are going to be, it is one of our greatest joys, if not our greatest joy, to be a tiny part of somebody's journey that who in 18 years have the capacity, 21 years to impact society, to change something, to innovate, to grow, to impact something in a much larger picture. So what we're doing on the front lines every day is making a blip in the dot that has a huge impact on the future in years to come. I know I speak for myself. I don't take it lightly. I'm trusted with somebody's kids 5 days a week for 9 months out of the year for lots of reasons. And it is not lost on me. It is an honor, and it's something that we value and take very good pride in taking care of and stewarding very, very well.
Well, we definitely appreciate everything you and your amazing team and all the teachers across the state and around our nation do to power the good and to pour into our youth. And so For the Milken Educator Award and the Milken Family Foundation, it's only the beginning. So when you look at where this journey, you got the celebration piece, but this will be ongoing. And so we get to follow your efforts. And there's also a $25,000 prize that you get to use to be able to invest back into the schools and education. So there's a lot of really cool pieces to this equation. But where do we go to continue to follow you and your efforts and learn more and carry this conversation forward?
Yeah, absolutely. ClintonSchools.org is where our school's main website is. And from there, it can launch you into our social network media, Facebook pages, our Instagram, and our Twitter accounts. Will keep up with updating how the work here in Clinton City is impacting our kids and the work that we're doing with NIT impacts around us as well.
Once again, the website, ClintonSchools.org. Abbey Kidwell, Assistant Principal at Clinton Elementary School. Congratulations again. Thank you for all you do to make a difference and power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jeremy, for having me.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.